Imagine being alone, soaring above an endless black ocean, knowing that if a single engine fails, you vanish. No one comes for you, not your comrades, not anyone. Just the cold, dark Pacific and death waiting below. It's 1943, Northern Australia. The Fenton airfield bakes under the sun. The dust burns your boots. The flies crawl into every crevice. And yet, for the men of the 380th Bomb Group, this was home. They called themselves the Lone Rangers because anyone sane would have walked away. They flew the B-24 Liberator, a plane meant to be unstoppable, a fortress in the sky. 4 engines, thick armor, gun turrets everywhere. But in reality, it was a trap, heavy, ungainly, a flying coffin over the Pacific. The targets that mattered were miles beyond reach. Balacapen, a city in Borneo, the beating heart of Japan's war machine. Oil refineries that fueled every Japanese fighter, every bomber, every attack. To the generals, it was a line on a map. To the men on Fenton, it was impossible. 2,600 miles one way, 17 hours of flight, no room for error. They looked at their planes, their weapons, the armor, and they asked a dangerous question. Do we survive by hiding or by outrunning the impossible? So they stripped the Liberators down, every ounce of armor gone, ball turrets ripped out, guns removed, passenger seats, relief tubes, anything not fuel or bombs, gone. They added fuel tanks in the bomb bays, sometimes improvised, sometimes jury-rigged with hoses and clamps. The bombers now looked like hollow shells, fragile, dangerous, beautiful in their audacity. They called them skeletons. The night of the first mission arrived. The men climbed in. Gasoline fumes filled the fuselage. It was freezing at altitude, howling through the gaps where the turrets had been. Every vibration reminded them, one mistake and it's over. The engines roared. The skeletons lumbered down the runway, groaning, straining, defying every calculation. The plane lifted. They were airborne, and the Pacific stretched beneath them like a graveyard. Hours passed. Each mile was a fight against the laws of physics. The pilots leaned the engines to the limit, running on fuel that could evaporate at the slightest miscalculation. In the bomb bay, the engineers manually pumped gasoline from the auxiliary tanks into the main fuel lines. Every move was a gamble. And then the horizon changed, a glow. At first, they thought it was the moon, but it wasn't. Balacapen, the city, the refinery, still illuminated. The enemy, so confident in their distance calculations, had left the lights on, a target ripe for destruction. The bombers lined up, no flak, no warning, just the hum of engines and the pounding hearts of men who had flown further than anyone thought possible. The bomb bay doors opened. Cold wind tore through the fuselage. 500-pound bombs dropped. They didn't just explode, they screamed. The refinery ignited. Fireballs consumed storage tanks. Towers crumpled. Streets ran with burning oil. The Japanese scrambled, confused, terrified. Too late. The skeletons were already turning back. The escape was worse than the attack. Engines strained. No armor, no turrets. Japanese fighters scrambled, looking for revenge. The planes were fast, but fragile. Every maneuver was a dance with death. The next hours were a test of endurance. Fuel gauges plummeted. Crew members crawled into the bomb bays, pumping gasoline by hand. Muscles burned, numbs fingers. The smell of raw fuel made their heads spin. Every spark could ignite the plane in an instant. Navigators fought against the wind, against drift, against exhaustion. One small error, and Australia would not appear on the horizon. 17 hours, alone, cold, hungry, exhausted, haunted by the ocean below. Dawn, Australia, red dirt, scrub brush, home. But the danger wasn't over. Landing a stripped-down B-24 on one failing engine with no fuel was like threading a needle in a hurricane. The first skeleton touched down, screeching tires, engines dying, silence, relief, exhaustion etched into every face. One by one, the other planes returned. Ghosts, shadows of men who had stared death in the face and survived. The mission succeeded. Balacapen burned. Japanese command panicked. Safe distance was gone. The Pacific shrank. A few hollow planes had rewritten the rules. But the cost lingered. The crews were broken. Bones ached. Faces gaunt. They would never forget the cold, the fuel fumes, the endless dark, the smell of death over the ocean. And yet, in the madness, a lesson remained. Courage and ingenuity can defy the impossible. Rules are meant to be challenged. Armor isn't always protection. Sometimes speed, lightness, and audacity are the best defense. So, next time you look at a map, imagine flying from Australia to Borneo in a hollow metal tube, 17 hours, alone, over the Pacific. And remember the skeletons, the Lone Rangers who turned the impossible into history.